and Sarah stamping your sheet. Today we're going to be making 5 cards with the Words of Cheer stamp set and the coordinating dies. So in the die set you get the holly, you get these kind of branches, the outline of the holly that cuts out this, you get cheer, and that cheer fits within that, I'll show you later, and also this happy fits within this as well. Or you can obviously use them on their own. We've got this piece here which you could use as decorative border, but also you'll see in here I've actually just cut a load of these in gold foil sheet, and I'm going to use them in the centres of flowers and on my branches and things, so we'll use those later. Then we've got these bits that make kind of mini poinsettias, some more little foliage type things, and this cuts out this big piece here. We've got loads of nice greetings in here as well, and also a lot of them fit with these, so you could have happy holidays, Christmas cheer, happy Christmas, like there's lots of things that you could kind of do to combine these with these. So it's a really nice set, and I just want to show you a few ways of using it. So the other thing that we're going to use a bit today, I'm going to use it on 2 of our cards, is this absolutely gorgeous glittery, it's called speciality paper, but it's very heavyweight. You get 8 pieces in a pack, and this is part of our celebration offer, so you can actually earn this for free when you spend £45. And this set, because there's so many dies and things, so this bundle is £44. So if you wanted to buy this and then maybe add in a glue or something just to take you over the £45 mark, you could receive that as your free gift, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it die cuts and cuts well as well, which I wasn't sure when I saw it because it is quite heavyweight whether it would do, but I like to try things, so I tried it and it actually works nicely. Okay, so we're going to start with some stamping. So I've got an A6 real red card blank, so that measures 8 1/4 by 5 7/8 inches, and that's scored and folded in half. And then this piece is 1/4 inch smaller than my card front. And then I've just got a piece of, this is just masking sheet, so you could get anything that peels off easily really, so something like you could use masking sheets, or you could use the sticky bit on the on a post-it note, anything like that. And I'm just lining this up on my grid sheet because I want to make sure that when I put this across it's nice and straight. So I'm just lining that up there, and then I'm going to put this across here. I think I put it just across there, and I'm just making sure that this is also straight on my grid lines, and then I'll make sure I've got a nice straight piece. So we're going to do some masking, so my sentiment's going to go in here, but I'm going to stamp over the rest of the piece. And then we're going to use this big stamp here, the floral one. So I'm going to stamp using Evening Evergreen ink. So I'm just going to stamp that all over. I'm going to stamp a bit off the edge and then all over the piece. Then I'm going to take off this bit. I'm going to take my Season's Greetings sentiment, and the strip that I stuck across there, by the way, was about 1/2 inch wide. So then I'm just going to stamp my Season's Greetings. I'm just going to stamp it here just to make sure it's stamping nicely. And then let's just stamp that in here. So I've got that stamped nicely in there, and I wanted to stamp that before I coloured everything, just to make sure that no, I didn't want to colour everything and then make a mistake with my stamping. But then I'm just going to put this back on here because I just want to make sure that while I'm colouring I get that nice clean line, and that's going to be much easier if I put this back on here. So then I've got Real Red and Just Jade stamping blends. So I'm just going to go through and colour this with my stamping blends. I'm just going to use the darker colours kind of in the middle and where the petals overlap, and then I'll use the lighter shades afterwards just to kind of blend it all in. I've just noticed that actually where that soaks up this, it's actually soaking under, and I want a nice clean line, so I'm just decided that's not the greatest idea. I'm just going to colour it without the strip on. So then I'm just going in with the lighter shade of the real red now. I love how vibrant these blends are. Now I hope you can see as well, you don't really need to be like a proper colourist to make it look nice. Like, I'm definitely not. I just enjoy colouring, but I think you get a nice effect just by kind of like adding a little bit of dimension with a bit of shading. It doesn't have to be like particularly accurate or anything. I think it just looks nice if you add an extra little bit of dimension. I'll just show you in case you've not seen these before. Our Stampin' blends, they're alcohol based markers, and they've got this nice kind of pointy brush style tip, and they've also got a nice chisel nib as well. So I use a mixture of the two, but they're really, really lovely to use. And because you've got the light and the dark shade in every colour, then you kind of know they're going to blend well as well. There's no kind of like worrying about different codes and what might blend with what and whatever. I mean, obviously you can blend different colours as well, but if you're kind of just starting out with alcohol markers, I think they're a really good way to start, because you've got a light and a dark of everything, so it just makes life easier. So now that that's coloured, all I need to do is just pop it on my card front. And then I think I'd like to add some of these little dots I showed you earlier that I die cut into the middle of each of the poinsettia. So I've just popped a little bit of glue onto each, and then definitely need my take your pick tool for this. It's just got like a little sticky end that means that I can just pick them up with the sticky end and just pop them on. And it's just so much easier than trying to do it with your fingers because they're such little dots. Then there's our finished card. So then for my second card, I've got a Pear Pizzazz A6 card blank, and then I've cut out the cheer with out of old olive cardstock, and I've cut out these thin letters that make up the cheer in the sparkly cardstock that I showed you earlier, or speciality paper I should say. And then I've got these parts that I've cut out real red, so the die actually cuts out the three, so you can run, there's one die that cuts out those three and one die that cuts out those three, so you can run it all through the die cutting machine at the same time. So what I'm going to do first is just make up my little poinsettia. I'm just going to make the points go up just a little bit. And then I'm just going to, in fact I might just pop a glue dot on the back of here. I feel like glue dots are probably going to be the easiest for this because they've got a hole in the middle. So then I'm just going to offset the little ones just on top of the big ones to create these little poinsettias. Then I'm going to pop one of those little gold dots in the middle of each of the poinsettias too. Put a bit too much glue on there, but it will dry clear, so I'm not too worried about it. And then I do actually wish that I'd put adhesive sheet on the back of these before I'd cut them out, but as it is I'll just stick a bit of glue on them. So I'm just going to pop these onto the chair here. I love how nice these letters look in the kind of glittery specialty paper. I feel like it must be something to do with the way it's made, the way it's called specialty paper, because to me it feels as thick as the cardstock. Look how nice that looks now. So I think that I'm going to stamp these holly leaves all over. I think it would be nice to have a panel down the middle that I can put the cheer in without it getting lost. So I'm just going to use this. This is obviously the piece that I actually cut the cheer out of to start with. And I think I'm just going to use the same technique as we used in the nest one. And then when I stamp this all over, it will leave like a panel for me to put the cheer in. So that's that finished. Now I've got this little area here ready to put my cheer in. So I decided that that didn't have enough impact, so I've actually just taken a piece of mossy meadow cardstock and cut that down to 5 1/4 by 2 inches, and then this is 1 3/4 by 5 inches. So that's another piece of the Pear Pizzazz cardstock. So I'm just going to glue those pieces together. And let's glue this down as well. And then I'm going to glue on my poinsettia. And how cute is that little panel? And I might actually put some dimensionals behind it. And that's my second card done. So then for my third card, I thought that I would make a little background with some of the sentiments from the set. So this is a 5 by 5 inch square of real red cardstock, and this is a 4 3/4 inch square piece of white, basic white cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp all my sentiments across this white piece. I'm using Old Olive and Real Red, and I just want to make a bit of a kind of mishmash look. Then on this piece, this is just a scrap piece of basic white cardstock. I'm just going to stamp my large floral in Old Olive ink. And then I'll use my Old Olive and Real Red stamping blends to colour them. So now I'm going to go cut this out with a coordinating die. So that's that cut out. I don't think it stands out very well across on top of this, so I think I'm going to cut a red layer to go underneath. And the other thing I want to do while I'm here is just to heat emboss the Season's Greetings with white embossing powder. So I've stamped it in Versamark ink. Now I'm just going to pop my white embossing powder over the top. Then I'm going to turn this on to 2. So I just cut a piece of real red cardstock 3 1/4 inches square. So let's layer these together. So I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back of that. And I'm just going to put one dimension at the end of there and some glue the other end, because part of this will stick to the flowers and then part of it will get pushed up on the side. So I think I'm just going to add centres to these again. I might just pop a few around the edge as well. So I've just put little dots where I'm going to put all the little gold bits. So that's that card finished. So then my camera cut out for the first part of this card. So I'm just going to explain to you what we've done. So I've got a 5-inch square basic white card blank. Then I've got a 4.5-inch square piece of gold foil sheet and a 4 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock. And then all I've done is I have just embossed this along here with gold embossing powder. Then I've got the Happy from the die set, so I've die cut the base layer in gold and the top layer in white, and I'm just about to glue that on here. Then I've got a white poinsettia that I just made up the same way as I did the red poinsettia on the last card, or on the cheer card. So I'm just popping that on there, and then this is just that Christmas sentiment heat embossed in gold with a piece of gold foil sheet around the outside, and I'm just looking at the placement of that. I think I might pop that there, so I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back. So that's our 4th card complete. Then I'm using those die cuts for this one as well. So I'm just going to heat emboss Christmas, the same one we used for the last one, onto this piece of red cardstock. That's real red. So I'm just stamping that in my Versamark ink, and then I'll just pour over my gold embossing powder. Now I'm just going to turn my heat tool onto the second setting and then I'll heat emboss that. So then I'm just going to go and cut that down. So then you can see here I've got a 5-inch square real red card blank. Then I've got some of this gorgeous paper, so that's 4.5 inches square. This is 4.25 inches square, this piece of real red. And then I've got all these pieces that I've die cut. So I've die cut 3 happies from this, and you can see how nicely it die cuts. Then I've got one of the base happies that I've done from old olive cardstock. And then I've cut out a set of each of these poinsettia in the real red cardstock too. So let's just build up our poinsettias. So I'm just going to do it in the same way we did before. I'm just going to add a glue dot onto the back of the flower and then just pop it offset onto one of the bigger ones. And I totally think that you could use these as stars on different cards as well. So then I'm just going to pop a bit of glue in the centre, and I'm going to use one of our little pieces. So then I'm going to glue this happy onto the happy base. So let's layer up these layers. And this is actually sliding around quite a lot on top of there, so I think I'm going to use tape instead. Or actually, I've just got a few glue dots left on here. I might just add a few glue dots. That'll just help it stick, because actually it's quite a textured surface and quite a shiny textured surface as well. So those glue dots will help to just make sure it sticks properly. Then I'm just going to lay out my happies. And if you wanted something that wasn't quite so in your face, you could always just use the one in the centre, but I quite like the look of them being all kind of like, it's a very shiny card. So that Christmas can go on there. I'm just going to put some dimensionals on there. And then I'm just going to pop on these flowers. So that's our final card finished. So those are all of our projects from today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, YouTube will also give you notifications when I've got new YouTube videos available. All of the products that we've used for today's class are listed in the description below, and there's also a host code there, so if you pop my host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.